AITA for blowing up on my son's girlfriend? My husband thinks I'm in the right, but my niece helped me make this post on here to see what other people think. I, 52F, have 3 sons ages ranging from 13 to 20. My oldest son, 20 meters, has a girlfriend, 19F, that hangs around our house a lot. It's a really small house and doesn't have a lot of space. She's a nice girl but gets on my nerves sometimes because she's always over. I really don't think she's right for my son, either. Our tap water has a weird aftertaste, so I order gallon water bottles and use them to refill a big glass bowl with a tap. It is not cheap to get water and other groceries delivered, so I tell my son's husband and the girlfriend to be courteous of the other people who live here and not use up the water, as it runs out fast in our big household. Yesterday, I caught her filling up her big metal water bottle with the jug water. And I calmly told her that other people live here, too, and she shouldn't hog the water all to herself. She was rather short with me and said something along the lines of, "Actually, this water bottle is big enough to hold all the water someone should be drinking in a day. I'm not hogging water. I'm just trying to stay hydrated." I found her tone to be disrespectful and ordered her to leave. She scoffed and went back to my son's room. That's when I really got frustrated. I opened their door and told her she has to leave. My son got really angry with me and told me that my girlfriend didn't do anything wrong, and why is it a crime for her to drink water? I explained that I order this water for our family to use, not leeches who hang around all day rent-free. My son's girlfriend got a little teary-eyed and left the room and out the front door without saying anything. My son told me that I was a major asshole and should have just minded my business. I think she's just wasteful and a brat. AITA? Info: why do you think she isn't right for your son? I've got a feeling there's some missing information here. Okay, YTA. But I'm going to try to explain why in a constructive way so you hopefully understand all sides of this. First of all, you have the right to lay down the law of your land and your house. That includes who is in it, who is using your supplies, how they're used, and what conduct you expect from guests. Your guests, including your son, also have the basic human right to take offense at your hostility. Nobody likes to be treated like a burden or an imposition. And you've put this girl in a difficult situation where she feels like in order to enjoy her boyfriend, she has to put up with your antagonism. Justified or not, that's exhausting for everyone. The fact is that you're 52 and she's 19. And as the owner of your house, you need to be the one who communicates your desires clearly, not passive-aggressively. You're trying to play both sides by subtly driving her away with your antagonism while also not giving your son cause to be angry with you. The absolute kindest way I can put this is that what you're doing right now is reactionary communication instead of preemptive communication. You clearly have a problem with this girl and everybody knows it. By being passive-aggressive and at times openly hostile to her in order to drive her away, you're disrespecting your son's choice and trying to impose your will on him. This isn't about the water. It's about you wanting her out of your house. And because you're not clearly putting down boundaries, these little things are adding up and blowing over. She is 19 and likely doesn't understand why you're so hostile. If you would rather not have her in your house all the time, communicate that with her. Tell her it's stressing you out to have guests over all the time and that you're feeling claustrophobic. There are many direct, mature ways you can handle this situation. But it starts with you, not her. You're the one with the problem. Just tell your son that he and his girlfriend need to hang out somewhere else. You start off by saying she annoys you and you don't think she's right for your son. It doesn't sound like she's your biggest fan either. The water is just a minor part of the bigger issue. There isn't really a difference between fills up bottle once with enough water for the day and drinks the same amount of water 1 cup at a time. Bottled water does cost money. But if that's a problem, asking her to contribute $1 would be a more logical first step. YTA for pretending this is about the water when it's not. Have you discussed with your family about having guests over, the size of your home, and your inability to provide water for guests? It seems like it should be a simple family discussion about this as it is financially based. YTA. You kicked an adult out of your home for the crime of drinking water. It's a weird power trip to deny someone hydration. You choose to have the source of water, a biological necessity, in your home be something impractical and expensive, rather than cheaper alternatives. It's not wasteful for her to pour herself a glass bottle of water. It's just that you don't like her and don't want her using it. If you don't want her over at your house, or you want to be compensated for the extra water, have that be the issue that you take up with your son, not with her, and address it separately. Did she pour most of the water down the toilet? If not, then how is she wasteful? As others have said, it is clearly not about the water. What is the long-term effect of your attitude if your eldest makes a life with this girlfriend? If you force him to choose her over you, then you will have brought this upon yourself. You son called it correctly. YTA. Just have your kid go to her house then. Could you get like a filter for the water? Or some kind of pipe, water main attachment? This seems like a really big argument over something so small. Buy a reverse osmosis filter kit for your sink. Way cheaper than wasting money on bottled water. It will dramatically improve your water quality. You need to ask yourself what your real problem is with this girl. Blowing up over H2O is pretty stupid. YTA. I wonder if the people making these posts actually care about other human beings at all. Always thinking the worst and saying the worst to everyone, and wondering why they struggle with relationships. Imagine calling your son's girlfriend a leech because she hangs out with her BF at his request and has the gall to drink water. Info. I'm curious. Have you spoken with your son and his GF about how much time she is over at your house? Like sat down and had a calm and productive conversation with them about why she is over so much? I don't think there is a clear-cut answer to if you are the or not. But perhaps this is more of a communication breakdown between your kid, his GF, and yourself. You readily admit you don't like her, and her near constant presence is getting on your nerves. And while you were communicative about the water grocery expense, it doesn't sound like you've had a conversation around boundaries and time spent in the home. This also sounds like the water was the final straw, so to speak, not necessarily the root cause of the problem. YTA. If you were upset about the frequency of your son's guest, you should have spoken directly to him about it. Ditto for their resource consumption. There was no reason to blow up at her for refilling a water bottle. A very normal use of water. But to be honest, it sounds like you just don't like this girl and are taking offense at her existing in your home. Which kind of makes you an asshole. Info. Does your son pay rent or contribute to the expenses around the house? You need to set boundaries with your son regarding having his GF over. Don't blame his GF. You being passive-aggressive and acting like a jealous teenager. Be an adult and actually communicate. You were rude to GF and obviously don't like her. Your son for cussing. Also, if anyone a leech, it's gonna be your son. He is responsible for his guests. GF for not respecting you, asking her to leave. YTA. If you had an issue with how much she is there, you take it up with your son, not her. She's just there hanging out, presumably not showering, sleeping, doing laundry, drying her hair, and you suggest she pay rent? Seriously? Does your actual son pay rent? Anyhow, yes, you're the A. She was bratty about the water but likely didn't think it was a big deal. And really, how expensive is your water? I have to refill drinking water, so I get it. Even when I refill my jug of water, I'm pissed at myself. We live in the country and it's frustrating. Her actions would probably piss me off if she scoffed and walked away. By your own words, you really seem to dislike this girl and you need to sort out what you're feeling. About water, but you gotta sort your feelings. Info. Do you live in a country or area where potable water is scarce? Many of these commenters seem to have never been to less developed nations. Water can be a big expense. Edited clean water to potable. There is a difference between safe to shower with and safe to drink. Does your son pay rent or help pay for groceries? Water. I get that this was something that broke the camel's back, but my dude established boundaries before exploding.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.